Hello and welcome to Marhaba Arabic 3.0. In this video, we will be discussing the special character Hamza. Now, if you have a copy of our Self-Teach Arabic book, fantastic. You'll know special characters is step 4 of the 4 steps to reading and writing Arabic. If you don't, you can find the link for that book in the description below. So let's begin now by looking at the special character Hamza, and this is how it looks. And a quick definition for Hamza. Well, in short, Hamza just makes the sound of whatever vowel that it carries. So what does that actually mean? Well, firstly, let me just say that the Hamza may be considered as an additional letter. However, it's much simpler than you think. Allow me now to provide you with the easiest explanation of Hamza, okay, which ties in closely to that quick definition on the screen. So, without going into how it appears in different forms and different letter shapes, make a note of this. Wherever and however Hamza appears, it always only makes the sound of the vowel that it carries. So, you know by now the three short vowels, Fatha, which makes A, Dhamma, which makes U, and Kasra, which makes I. So, depending on which of these three short vowels the Hamza is carrying, that is how it is pronounced. So let's have a quick look. Here we have an example with Hamza carrying a Fatha. Now, the Hamza is sitting on the letter Waw, or the shape of the letter Waw. Here we completely ignore the Waw. So the word is pronounced Su'al. So if you notice where the Hamza is, I will just mark it with my cursor. If you notice where the Hamza is, it's just making the sound of the Fatha, A. So a, a, and obviously there is a long vowel Aleph afterwards, so we just lengthen the pronunciation and it becomes Su'al, Su'al. So we just completely ignore the chair or the letter shape that the Hamza is sitting on. We just want to focus on what vowel is it carrying, and that's the sound we make. And the same goes for Dhamma. Here the word is tafa'ul, tafa'ul. Again, notice where the Hamza is. I am pronouncing U, tafa'u, because Dhamma makes the sound U. So here we're going to completely ignore again where the Hamza is sitting and the shape that it's sitting on. We just look at the vowel that it is carrying, and that's the sound we make for that particular letter. So tafa'ul, okay? And the same goes for kasra. Here the word is ra'is. So notice again, the Hamza is sitting on a different letter shape than the first one we looked at, the Fatha example where it was sitting on a waw. So, but we that's irrelevant. We do not look at that. What we want to look at is what vowel is the Hamza carrying? It's carrying a kasra. And we know kasra makes I. So here we say ra, I, ra, I. And then obviously ya is extending the kasra because it's a long vowel here. So the word becomes ra'is. Ra'is. Perfect. Let's have a look in the case of a sukoon. What happens if the Hamza is carrying a sukoon? Well, it's you got to think of this as it's like a hiccup or a stop of pronunciation of a vowel. So basically, this word here is sama, sama, sama. Okay, so we're not actually saying a, u, or I. Okay, just because we know what sukoon does, it stops the pronunciation and we only make half the sound. So here it's just pronounced sama, sama. Okay, and that's how we pronounce words that have a hamza, but on the hamza there is a sukoon. Now, in some cases, the hamza might have a sukoon in the middle of the word, and we will see how we pronounce that in the next slide, basically when we share some more word examples of the hamza. So, just lastly, I want to say again, notice how the hamza is appearing on different letter shapes, but remember, regardless what it sits on, it only ever makes the sound of the vowel it carries. That is a, u, I, or if it's a sukun, okay. So now let's have a look at some more word examples where we can see the Hamza special character in different letter shapes and different forms, okay, and in different positions of the word. So the first example is Amara, which means ordered. Amara. Here, the Hamza is carrying a fatha, which makes a, so that's all we pronounce. Amara. Now we see an example where the Hamza is carrying a sukun and it's in the middle of the word, so we pronounce the word ya'kul. Ya'kul. If you remember, I said sukun, we just make half the sound, or it's like a stop, and we move on to the next letter with the next vowel. So here the word is ya'kul, which means eating. The next word is sa'altu. Sa'altu, which means asked. Now again, you see the Hamza carrying a fatha, so the word is pronounced sa'a. Sa'altu. Here we have a Hamza carrying a kasra. We know kasra makes the sound I, so we just say I. And the word is pronounced ithbat. Ithbat, which means evidence. Dafi. Again, here the Hamza sitting on a completely new letter shape. It's carrying a sukun, but we know that makes half the sound, so we pronounce the word dafi, which means warm. Dawa. Here the Hamza is standalone, carrying a sukun, so the word is pronounced dawa. Ru'ya. Ru'ya. Here again, the Hamza is sitting on a waw letter shape in the middle of the word and carrying a sukun, and it is pronounced ru'ya. Ru'ya. And if you watch the video on the ta marbuta lesson, the special character ta marbuta, you will know that ta marbuta can be taken as a silent letter. That is why I am only pronouncing up to the ya with the fatha. Ru'ya. Okay? If that marbuta was vowelized, I could potentially say ru'yatu. But this lesson is on Hamza, so we're not going to go too much into that. If you want to know more, you can watch the video on ta marbuta. Next example. Ru'us. Here, the Hamza is carrying a dhamma. It makes u. So the word is ru'us. Fu'ad, which means heart. Ra'id, which means major. Bi'a, which means environment. Mali'a, which means full. Okay, awesome. So you can see here, just by looking at these examples, wherever there is a Hamza, I am just making the sound of the vowel that it carries. Okay, and if it's a sukun, I'm just making that sound, so it's half the pronunciation. So it is very straightforward. Please do not get confused. When reading words that have Hamza, just remember to look for the vowel it is carrying, and you know the vowels are A, U, and I. So you just make those sounds where you see a Hamza and just move on to the next letter. Awesome. Thanks for watching, and if you did find this video helpful, you know what to do next. Enjoy your day.